step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right.
Do the thing.
What?
3, 2, 1, boom.
Boom.
And we're live.
And we're live. This is a Keep Hammering Collective with Truett, Connor, Hanes. Is it Connor or Jonathan?
No, it's Connor.
Okay, it's Tanner, Jonathan, Truett, Connor. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I always get you guys mixed up.
We know.
So, this is interesting.
Let's make this interesting. That's an inside joke, but yeah, I know. I've never done a podcast before, so you should feel pretty lucky.
I feel honored. What's your deepest, darkest secret? Let's just start the podcast off with that.
That's a really good one.
If anybody knew about, you'd be banned from society.
Yeah, no, that's good, and I'm glad you asked it. I think probably what it is I've actually I've never revealed how strong I actually am, like in all events, like running, lifting, and whatnot. Just because I just don't want to reveal all my cards.
Show off.
Yeah, I don't want to show off. So that's why. Yeah, no, I mean, if people knew that, then geez.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah,
Smart.
thank you.
Very smart. You got to be humble.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm really good at being is humble.
I'm probably the most humble person you've ever met.
Yeah.
So, this is, man, first of all, I never thought I'd have a podcast. And then I never thought there'd be any reason to talk to one of my kids on it if I did have one.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, truthfully, I wanted to have you and Tanner on at the same time. He made some excuse. He's likes to hide in the shadows.
Laryngitis.
Right. Exactly. So it'd be best to have you and he and I and me and you and him.
It's all right.
Yeah. So we'll start off with you. And man, been busy lately. So it wasn't yesterday, day before you killed a buck.
Yep.
Prior to that, you set the world record in pull-ups.
Most pull-ups in 24 hours.
Prior to that, you failed.
Yeah, failed back in April 6 months ago.
And that's what makes a compelling story. The struggle, the experience, the self-doubt. So
A lot of that.
let's talk about the hunt. How'd the hunt go?
Hunting was good. We had a lot of action on the first day. Saw quite a few bucks, and then just couldn't get a shot off on any of them. And then, like I said in my Instagram post, but you told us right before we headed down the ridge when I did kill my buck that we were going to see a buck. Then, like, not 5 minutes later, we saw a buck. You spotted him, and then got set up on a tree stump. 230 yards. He closed in 30 yards, and at 200, it was just right on him. Quartered a little, and then was able to make a good shot on the old Sig Cross.
Yeah, that was a nice gun. Kevin Akers let us borrow.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Shout out.
Yeah, and then as we all well know, it's an inside family secret, which we have video of, but we're not going to release to the public. But was packing it out as we do, and for some reason my dad likes to do it full. So like after you gut it, put it on your back, tire deer, and then you head up the ridge to the truck, and it's pretty dang steep and wet in Oregon, and I made it. Would you say halfway? Would you give me that?
Sure.
Okay, halfway. Made it up halfway, and then this is my fault, but I was in Vans. They're like trail shoes, kind of. Not the best grip. Definitely not crispy boots. And
is this excuses?
No.
Or what is this?
No, this is facts. And then got to a part where the ground was pretty loose, and I you got the weight on you. So take a step, slip, fall down with it, get back up, put it on, take a couple steps, slip all the way back down to where you were. And every step, it counts. It's like a rep. It's lunging, basically.
Yeah. And with 100 and some pounds on the back of your head.
Yeah. Yeah. One false move and it's, you're going down. But I had finally had enough. I fell down and it went over my head on the ground. And then, I proceeded to slip down. I don't even know, like 5 feet. And then,
have you seen the movie Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone?
No.
He's hanging on ice cliffs, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, no, I had the death grip into the mud, trying to hang on because I just kept slipping down. And I could not believe how frustrating that was. Mm-hmm. But I had a breaking point, grabbed my hat, threw it on the ground, screamed expletive, and then I want to say screamed. I yelled. Screamed is a little bit dramatic.
It was similar to like a horror thriller scream.
Yeah. yeah. By a female lead.
Yeah.
But no, and then even when I was getting angry and upset, throwing my hat and whatnot, I kept slipping down. And then kept slipping, finally grabbed a log, threw it, slipped after that. And so what we kind of talked about on the way back was how I can be what I would be considered pretty tough on that 8100. Overcame a lot, obviously.
That's a reference to the 8,100 pull-ups in under 24 hours.
8,100 pull-ups in 24 hours. Mm-hmm. That was just October 14th, so like 2 weeks ago from that day.
Yeah.
And how you're tough on that day, but it doesn't mean you're going to be tough on another day, which I wasn't for some reason.
You can't rest on your laurels for the rest of your life now?
No. And that's one thing that you don't even think about. You're just like, okay, yeah, I accomplished this, so I can accomplish basically anything that's in my way. But things are just different, and you don't know what's going to cause you to stumble. Mm-hmm. And you need to get that edge every single day. There's like that corny saying, something about like rent is due every day and whatnot, but
dues paid or something like that. Rent's due every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think The Rock made that up. You're like The Rock.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah. So that is a challenge, carrying a buck over your shoulders out, but there's something rewarding about it. I think it's an animal you've killed. You made a perfect shot. Deer died quickly. It's a nice 3x3 buck, good blacktail. You only had a couple days to hunt, essentially. You got a full-time job, coming back and forth, traveling from Utah, so we got it done. But perfect shot. I was impressed. You were composed. I'm glad the buck gave us a little time to get set up and get that rest. I was a little worried because you had a good rest. There's a bipod on it. Kevin has this gun set up really well, but then the back of the stock was free. So you had that in your shoulder, but it's always best to have even a rest for that or for your elbow. And you were I was watching you were, good on the front of the rifle, kind of had to hold it on your own on the back. And I was like, oh, some people can screw that up, but you did a great job. I mean, made an absolutely perfect shot, went through the top of the heart and blew out the lungs also. So the deer, he was down in seconds, and that's that's always the goal, a quick, merciful kill.
Yep.
And there's just something to the rewarding about getting a clean kill, getting the animal cleaned out, gutted, keeping that meat just pristine and no dirt on it, no hair on it, and then packing it up to the truck. That's one reason why I like to do that, is because you leave the hide on, the meat's protected. Whereas if you skin it and quarter it down there, it's you're opening the meat up to getting debris and dirt and different things on it. But 100% clean, packed it up. 90 pounds hanging at the meat processor. That's Gates Family Tradition Meats in Cottage Grove. They do a great job.
Shout out Tanner
Gates. Yeah, he's been pumping out the deer there. I mean, I think God, they had 70 some hanging. Is that right?
They had 77 on one day, did 33, and then the next day they were up to 79 again. And then so he had 80 deer that he had to go through.
I know, and I didn't realize they even gut them for some people. Like I think he had 18 come in that he had to gut for the hunter, which I didn't realize that was a thing.
Which I didn't realize. Like, how would you even get an entire deer to them?
Yeah, I mean, they must be killing it by a road or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he charged, what did he say he charged? $50 or $75 to gut? Or 100 and some?
75 to gut, and then to skin is 50. So it's like 125 total.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's not even cutting up the meat.
No.
Then you got the whole cutting up the meat part. But yeah, those guys working their butts off during rifle season in Oregon. A lot of blacktail hunters. But yeah, they always take really good care of us. We take it in there. We're not expecting anybody to gut it or skin it for us.
No.
But they're professionals at processing, and I like keeping money local, they just do a great job with the pepperoni and the hamburger and everything they offer for wild game. The bear that they do, the pepperoni sticks out of bear, is some of my favorite. But anyway, so we got that done. But yeah, the hunt couldn't have went really any better. Had a great time. Me, you, Tanner, K.A., Ron, and Bubba. The A-team.
Yeah, the dream team.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hunting has been kind of off and on for you. I mean, I got you guys exposed to it pretty young. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to get you familiar with the process of hunting, what is entailed. And then you guys are both pretty busy. You know, we hunted when we could, but, you know, with school and everything else. So what does hunting mean to you? What is it? Is it something that you just want to do, or do you feel like a desire, like a urge to do it more, or is it just you like getting out there and having meat for the freezer? What is hunting to you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like having a full freezer, not having to go to the store and just buy beef from the store. There's pride, obviously, when you're able to kill it yourself and then bring it home. But no, I mean, like growing up, we would go out every single year, not by choice, by us. Because, I mean, what I always tell people is when we were kids, we'd go out hunting with you, didn't have a choice, and then it would be like the hardest thing we did all year. So, I mean, like when you're always doing something that's really hard every time, and I don't know if you know this about yourself, but you can be pretty intense.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, at least while hunting. And then so for me, I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was just like, yeah, honestly, it's pretty hard. Get yelled at. I don't think I want to do it. So the last hunt that we did for like a long time was Blacktail at that place that we just killed this last year. I think I was 13 back in 2010. Then I didn't hunt again until I was, I think like 2018. So that's 5 years ago. So 21. So I took like an 8-year break from hunting. And it wasn't even that I was busy. I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. And then we actually, when I got reintroduced to it in 2018, killed a blacktail. And then I was just like, honestly, like that felt really good to do. And then so I just I got that fire back a little. And then from there, yeah, we've been going just about every year since then.
Went to Texas.
Yeah, I went to Texas. And then Utah elk hunt that we do every year, which I don't hunt, but I just go with you. So it's nice to get out. But yeah, I mean, I just love getting out at this point, and being able to just see anything is exciting. Like when you see something and you actually have a chance at killing it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did some hard hunts when you guys were young. So I understand that would have been like most kids, hard is not really what draws them to hunting or to doing anything.
Right.
Kids like to have a good time, you know what I mean? So yeah, we did some hard ones. We did a bear hunt in Hell's Canyon, which was hard. Tanner did an elk hunt in the same country, which is hard. We went to Alaska, with Roy hunting black bear. Those were very challenging, long trips, no sleep. Africa was hard because long plane rides over there. I had you, after you killed, we went out hunting. I said, you need to help the guys in the skinning shed. So all the PHs over there and the trackers, you help them. How was that?
I was a liability for sure.
How old were you then?
13.
13.
Yeah. So I was 13 and that would have been May of 2010. Then my last hunt that I did for a while was October 2010 when I killed my first blacktail. Mm-hmm. My first and biggest.
That was a nice buck.
Yeah.
So how was working in the skinny shed? How long were you out there?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure like I couldn't really understand what he was saying. And maybe I just like held the leg and whatnot out of the way for him. I definitely didn't use a knife. I was just like,
you don't speak Swahili?
No, actually I don't.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I pretty much just stood there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
but I did have you got the animals, right?
Yeah.
Or the Impala anyway.
The Impala. And then, I got we hit the guts. So it was coming out a little.
We did?
Well, I guess I did.
Yeah.
And then, you and Anton, our guide, were like, it's tradition that you eat the guts, at least a little bit of it. Mm-hmm. And then, I was, 13. So I didn't really know any better. And then got some on my finger and I was going for it. I was like, shoot, I guess this is what they do. I want to be respectful of traditions. And then at the last second, it was like, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had already eaten all the guts, so it was too late.
So that probably caused you to not want to hunt. That was traumatic, I bet.
I have a lot of trauma.
You've been sorting through?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, so you said you weren't excited because I was too intense. Couldn't you just said, hey, Dad, don't feel like hunting?
No, I might have said that, honestly.
Did you?
I don't know. Like, for whatever reason, you didn't force me to hunt anymore. I think, you could just maybe tell that.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember you got into track and cross country and, you were a good runner. So I wanted you to.
That's true. I mean, yeah, because then I was 14 freshman year and cross country is in the fall. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, it was probably something like that. And then I cared more about being jacked than anything.
Yeah.
Like even more so than running. I was talented as a runner. My coach, Chase Wells, said that like I'd be winning the district meet by the time I was a senior, but literally couldn't care less about that. All I wanted to be was jacked.
And you were faster as a freshman. Were you faster as a freshman?
Sophomore.
Or sophomore, yeah.
Sophomore was my fastest year, and I was 5'4", 110 pounds.
And then when you're a senior, what were you?
5'10", 150. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was stupid jacked then, and it didn't even look like I lifted.
Oh, a little bit. I mean, it did. But it totally changed your running form because I don't know. You ran like you were pretty fluid.
Yeah.
When you were skinnier, and you started lifting but I mean, kids, teenagers, who knows what the hell teenagers think? I mean, of course, if you would have dedicated yourself to running, and I told you, I said, you could be, really good at running. You could get a scholarship. And I remember all you said was, I don't want to run for 4 more years after this.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I wasn't thinking ahead at all. Like, what could actually help me like in the long term?
Yeah.
The only thing that I cared about was just looking good. Not even like being strong, just looking good. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, I mean, my priorities have shifted, but I don't know when you get the positive reinforcement. I mean, because I was skinny my entire life, skinny and the smallest guy in the room.
And now you're on steroids.
And now I'm on steroids and get paid to do pull-ups if you ask people on the internet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, always the smallest guy in the room. And then every kid wants to be strong and like look strong to other people. So once I got a little bit of that, like people were like, dang, have you been lifting? When I was like 15, and then like that just felt really good for me. And I was like, okay. I was like, I think I could work with this. And so priority, getting jacked, and then everything else took the back seat.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's worse decisions kids make.
That's true.
I mean, that's not that bad a one to want to be in shape. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the running kind of took the back seat, and you had some skill for it and some talent, but, you still wanted to train. You still were doing good in school. You weren't doing anything technically stupid like teenagers do. So it's like, whatever. That's just part of life. You sometimes, what your dad wants you to do, just any teenage boy especially, can be pretty rebellious. So if your dad wants you to do it, like if I wanted you to hunt, it's pretty natural for a teenage boy to say, no, you want me to hunt? I don't want to hunt.
Yeah.
Because it's just butting heads. And it's just like, that's how teenagers kind of, they mature, and that's just, you want to make your own decisions. That's just part of being a young man.
Yep. No, I think it was a lot of that for sure. Just like, I don't know, you start to feel a little bit more like an adult, and you're like, I don't have to listen to you anymore. Even though I lived at home until I was 23 and I had to abide by your rules the entire time for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. No, it's, yeah, I mean, I know I'm, hunting, I'm probably better now. I'm old as hell, but, yeah. And also it's like when I was working full time, then I was hunting, then, I mean, it was always like time was trying to stack a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. So it makes it pretty intense. And that's my personality.
I know. I mean, it definitely gives me a different perspective because now I'm 26, and you were 25 when you first had Tanner? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any kids, so I can imagine like the stress you were under following your dream, being a bow hunter, and then writing, and then full-time job, and trying to do everything in between and be a dad. But people always, I think they assume, they give you a hard time. They're like, oh, you weren't around for your kids because you're too busy going on these hunts and whatnot. But almost every single basketball game for Tanner and I, you would be there. I mean, you would be there, and a lot of the times we would wish that you weren't there because you would always have something to say after the game if it didn't go well.
Like, good job.
Well, no, I don't know. A lot of the times we struggled both with, you would always tell us that we need to hustle more. And then obviously, like, looking back at it now, we're like, what the hell were we doing? We were being lazy. Mm-hmm. Just like not being that intense on defense and whatnot, not diving for loose balls. And, but yeah, I mean, practice too. You'd be there. And then so if I did something stupid, then you'd be like, oh, I could just,
Yeah. So,
yeah, you were definitely there. That's for sure. Maybe too often.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you, there's no outline or no rules to follow for being a dad that I knew of. So yeah, I learned on the fly and made a lot of mistakes, but, you guys have, man, I mean, you guys and Taryn pretty proud. I don't know, that's from, I think, Tracy's influence more than mine. She's like offset the damage I did by whatever.
No, I mean, she's pretty dang tough. We got to give her credit. Basically the best mom you could ever ask for. But
best mom you ever had.
The best mom I've ever had, for sure. But yeah, I mean, even, you would always push us, and then mom would, tell us, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And, which she just loves us no matter what. She doesn't care if we accomplish anything, if we push ourselves hard. She's just like, you guys are perfect the way you are. Mm-hmm. Not saying you don't think that, but I know that you think that we have, if we're not giving our all, then you'll have something to say about it.
Yeah. I think if I could go back, maybe I would, because I always put a lot of emphasis on physical effort and ability, and all about performance. And performance it's one part of life, but the education, of course, I'd want you guys to get good grades, but it's always so focused on
Sports
and physical attributes and physical performance. And so it's like, I know that there's more to life than that.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, yeah, just kind of, it's all about how you determine success. Because, yeah, I mean, our whole thing was if you're the fastest, if you're the strongest, if you're like the best basketball player, then that's basically like where your self-worth is going to come from. Mm-hmm. And then so that's what we did as kids. And I mean, it did pay off in some aspects. Like in elementary school for me, I was the kid that ran and was fast. And like people, like amongst the other kids, they really respected that. And Tanner and I both actually, since we were like the only kids that would be out on a weekend running with our dads. Not dads, with our dad. Yeah, we would be running on the weekends and we would just get better and better, obviously a lot more than the other kids because like you're not going to get better at running unless you're doing it consistently. Mm-hmm. Tanner broke the school record for the mile. I think it was 6:38. And then
elementary school,
Yolanda Elementary School mile. And then a few years later, when I got to the 5th grade, I did 6:28, and then I had the school record. So just like right there, like being able to win at something as a kid, it feels pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't complain. And then the jogathon too, run around laps. I set the school record, and then at the assembly, they printed me off this huge piece of paper with a big star on it, 32 laps, school record. And then like everyone just applauded, all the kids, and you feel like a rock star. So
yeah. As we all know, I've been putting all my guests through a pretty good cardio session on Mount Pisgah. Go Ruck is a welcome new addition to the podcast and Lift Run Shoot series. I love the 80-pound sandbags, but I'm not sure how my guests feel about it. But what do they say? Pain is weakness leaving the body. All the people at Go Ruck are beasts, and I'm thrilled to partner with them. We use the rucks and sandbags on almost every episode, and now you can take your training to the next level as they are offering listeners 10% off when you use code CAM, C-A-M, at goruck.com. See you guys on the mountain. You better not forget that weight. Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops is a sponsor of the podcast, and that's especially powerful for me because I remember when Cabela's came to Springfield, Oregon, and I actually played a role in the opening of that store. Instead of cutting the grand opening ribbon with scissors, I shot it with an arrow, and it was just a monumental thing. I mean, everybody here in town was talking about, hey, are you going to go to Cabela's? Can you believe Cabela's is coming here to Springfield, Oregon? So I know what a staple those giants in the industry are. And it's one of the first places people go when they're looking to get geared up to become a hunter is they go to Cabela's and buy everything they need. So I'm very excited that we've partnered together and we can help open up those outdoor and hunting opportunities to listeners of this podcast. Now, those moments they're important and they're powerful for a kid because it's hard to get positive attention or reinforcement. So you guys had the physical ability to do that because you definitely weren't doing it in grades.
No, I actually got decent grades.
I know you both did.
I think I got like 3.1, 3.2. I was never a genius.
You were never Taryn.
No, my sister she's really good at school, and I've never been that great.
Yeah, you guys did good though. I mean, you guys were both smart kids. I mean, it's not every kid isn't going to be obsessed with grades like, maybe we were with the physical part of running or even basketball, points, wins, whatever it is. But yeah, it's a balancing act and it's hard. It's, I remember what it's like growing up and just, as a boy, you're always, it feels like you're always searching for something. It's like you never really know what it means to be. I don't remember what it means to be happy. So I was like, what feels good, And it's like, it's hard. It's hard because other young boys are feeling the same way and so tough on each other. And you know, it's, yeah, freaking tough to grow up.
Yeah, I mean, I forget the exact details of the story, but you would run a mile before school every day?
Yeah. No, but I was 5.
5?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were in school when you were 5.
Yeah, no, I started when I was 5 for some reason. Like I said, I think my mom just wanted to get rid of me. So she's like, can this little fucker start school now?
Yeah. So what, she dropped you off at like 6 a.m. or what?
No, I walked to school.
Oh.
Yeah, that was back when, parents didn't really care about their kids.
But yeah, didn't you end up getting a school record of some kind? Like, good job, Cam. You ran 100 miles in a month.
I got the school record for getting in trouble. I wrote FUK on the chalkboard. The teacher was out, so that was a record.
Dang.
No, I ran it was a month of something like October, I think, but it was however many miles you could run on your own time. So it was before school. I'd go and I'd run a mile every day when I was 5. I was 5 in the first grade. So like the first 2 years, I would go and I don't know. I can't remember if it was a school record, probably a world record. But I think I ran 20 some miles. So like there's 20 school days in the year in the month of October, which I think is when it was. And so I'd run a mile every day, which, you know, I was also small.
Yeah, pretty good for being 5.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was like, but that stemmed back from my dad too. My dad was a track star. You know, everybody in Eugene knew him, and he worked at Eugene Athletic, which is down on the mall here in town. And so I would go to Eugene Athletic, and my dad was like shoe guy, and he'd get people set up with shoes because he's been a track athlete, then a track coach. But in between, he worked there, so it was always like shoes and performance and running and track meets at Hayward Field. And so I was like, okay, to get my dad's approval, I need to, run. And my mom and dad were divorced at this time. But yeah, so it's always, I know, like I said, I just know how it feels. I remember how I felt, and it's just like you're trying to get, attention for something. And for me, running gave it to me. And so that's kind of what I tried to pass on to you guys, I guess, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, running's always been a big part of our lives for sure. I forget the time at Hayward. You were just able to go there and run as long as you wanted before they just remodeled it and whatnot. But when I wore that all gold outfit, and then we did like 20 laps.
Yeah. I can't remember how old you were, but we went over there one night. It was dark.
Yeah.
And you just kept running.
Yeah.
I don't remember how old you were. I don't know. Tanner, do you remember?
No. Had to have been like 5 or 6.
Yeah, pretty young, but
Yeah.
so what? You ran 4 or 5 miles?
Yeah, I think it was like 20 laps. And I just remember like getting up like to 10, 11, 12. And then you're like, I can't believe you're still going.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, you haven't seen nothing yet. I want to keep going. And then that felt really good. And then the first time I broke an 8-minute mile too was a big deal for me. Because I think that was a first grade. We would always run and try to break it, and then I would hyperventilate, which I don't even know. I've never done that since like being a kid. Like when you're a kid, you just, I don't know, get to like you start to panic maybe because it hurts, or you're breathing, like your heart rate gets up too high maybe, and you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, I think you kind of are being dramatic.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, that's your way out.
Yeah.
You're like, obviously, he's not going to keep going if he's going.
Yeah, because I don't know about all kids, but all you kids kind of, I don't remember Tanner doing it, but I know Taryn has done it. So, yeah, I think it's
Tanner didn't do it?
I don't remember.
Damn.
I can't remember.
Tougher than me.
Yeah, he's always been pretty tough. But, yeah, you guys... what other kids were going and running Pisgah when they were young? I don't see too many kids these days running Pisgah, and you guys had to do it all the time. Or did you want to, or did you have to?
No, we had to. We had to, for sure. But yeah, that was, we just talked about this earlier today, but when Tanner and I raced up Pisgah, and I I had to have been like 7, and so that means Tanner was 10. And then we were just talking trash up until Pisgah and just saying how, oh man, I'm gonna smoke you. And and then I mean, as a 7-year-old, I can't imagine my comebacks were too great, and I couldn't really talk. Couldn't say my R's and S's.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we got there. I had been training like actually pretty decently, just running with you on the weekends. I don't think Tanner had been. Maybe he was doing sports, so he wasn't running as much. And then so we take off sprinting in the beginning. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then we got to like up the first hill, and then Tanner, he bowed out. He sat off on the side of the trail and just hands on his lap and just like watched me just keep going. And then I got all the way up. I don't even know how far ahead, but I looked back right before I turned the corner where he was still in view, and I saw him and you now heading up, starting to run. And I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, looks like my dad has forced him. And then I get all the way almost to the end. And then here comes Tanner, and he's going strong. And I'm starting to feel it at this point. Lactic acid build up. And then grab my calves, and I fall down to the ground, like wiggle, just because like it hurts so bad. And I had been running so hard, what I thought. And then here comes Tanner, stronger than ever. And then I fall down, and then now you have to help me. And I think you picked me up, and then we started to go. And then I almost ended up catching Tanner. It was like a sprint towards the monument at the end. And then he beat me in the end. So, and that's another thing. I've never actually beat Tanner in anything, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been a better runner. Like fastest marathon, 2:57. I don't even know. I think Tanner's is 3:30. No. Oh, sorry. Is it 3:40?
Yeah, 3:40 something.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've been faster, but in every single head-to-head race, never beat him. Mm-hmm. Not once. It's like the classic Big Brother thing.
Yeah.
And then basketball, never beat him in a game of one-on-one. Like last time we played was, I don't know, a while ago, but I was an adult, full grown, and still couldn't get it done. Like growing up, it makes sense. You're smaller, but no, I just couldn't. And then I don't know. Has Tanner beat you in one-on-one? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like as kids, that was impossible.
Oh, I don't think so. Not. Did you ever as a kid?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but we quit once. What's that?
It got pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, there were some pretty intense games.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Tanner was, I don't even know how old, maybe 13, 14. You guys would have some pretty, it's like, what's that movie?
Oh, with Denzel.
Denzel, he got game.
He got game.
Tanner was Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah. Okay. If I don't really want to get into all my vices, but one big one is very competitive and also not nice. So yeah, we had some epic one-on-ones, but yeah, once Tanner got in maybe older in high school, yeah, I couldn't beat him. He's really good at basketball. But up until whatever, yeah. I mean, but we would go, you guys are tough. You guys are fucking tough kids. That's all there's to it.
Yeah.
You came up doing hard things, a lot of hard things, a lot of digging. You mentioned the race up Pisgah, and it sounds like kind of silly, but man, you guys developed an edge, because pushing that hard and racing and hurting that bad and still getting it done, to me, that's valuable life lessons. And that carries over because you still remember it.
Yeah.
And you remember what that feels like, and you remember how it feels to dig deep.
Well, I mean, it's like you learned if you train hard for something and you really want it, you're going to get it done. Like you get better. And that's like we would run a mile on the weekends at the track, just training for the school record, and then was able to get it done. But yeah, it's like if you set aside time, make time for something to get better at it, then it's going to show. And that's one thing that we learned.
Yeah. I mean, what I can't remember. I mean, I think I said it many times, but I know I talked to Tanner about it. But it was like, because I'm in the same boat. You guys were way more talented than me, but I just said that if you guys do what everybody else does, you're going to be pretty much about everybody else because you're pretty average as far as, you didn't have a 40-inch vertical, weren't the biggest. So it's like, if you just do the average effort, just do go to practice just like everybody else, okay, you're just going to be whatever. You're going to kind of just middle of the pack.
Yep.
But if we outwork everybody else, then who knows?
Yeah.
And I was very proud of Tanner took that. We shot threes after his practice, every night. Ended up getting first team all league in basketball. And, that was, to me, that I love seeing him have that success because that showed, okay, this does work.
Right.
You work your ass off, there are rewards. And that's all I tried to really I just wanted you guys to understand that part of it. And it seems like you both did because you both have been very hard workers.
Well, one thing you would always say to us is, you'll thank me eventually.
Yeah, all parents say that though.
You'll thank me later. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I guess that's actually true though. Looking back at it, I'm like, geez, I could have been so soft as a kid. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that you just wouldn't really allow it, or you want to entertain the idea of us just being able to do whatever we wanted to do and just be lazy, play video games. It's carried over to my adult life. Yeah, I made quite the impression. So
don't you have something to say to me?
Thank you, I guess.
Just kidding. Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about, everybody watched has seen your journey in the pull-ups. And I think that started, you can explain it, but where did the journey with pull-ups start for you?
Yeah, pull-ups specifically. Mm-hmm. Well, I will say, when I was lifting consistently in high school, one thing that I was always good at was pull-ups. I'd be able to bust out 20 in a row, and that was a lot back then, in high school. And then we met Goggins back in 2018, and we did that 50K. Then we went to the gym, worked out for an hour. And then after the workout, Goggins did 100 after every single, that's how he would finish. That was his finisher. And then so he would do 5, walk to the other side of the gym, walk back, do 5. And then so he just kept doing that until 100. And then I was like, dang, that's actually, that looks pretty cool. And then so I started to do that. And that was back in 2018. So
you did 100 with him that night too, didn't you? Or did you not?
Actually, I don't think I did.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I was pretty gassed.
We were pretty smart. It was a hard workout.
Yeah.
A lot of people see the video and they see
25s.
They see the 25s on the incline and they're like, oh, these guys are whatever. You know how people on the internet are, just fucking complete dumb fucks. But they talk about the 95. But they talk about the 95 pounds. But God, we had done so many reps of everything before that.
I mean, the 50K
alone. We ran 30 some miles that morning. And that was your first 50K, right?
Yeah. Yeah, first 50K, I did it in 5 hours and 56 minutes.
Yeah. And that's not the easiest 50K. That's on Pisgah. So you're doing pretty much 4 summits.
Yep.
In 32 miles or whatever it was on a cold, rainy, maybe snowy day.
It was cold, yeah.
Yeah.
It was cold and muddy.
So we started off with that. Then we did this, Goggins likes to say, animalistic workout.
Yeah.
Which was hard. I don't know how many reps we did, but probably 600, I think, if we counted everything up.
Yeah.
And then he did the 100 pull-ups. I didn't know if you did. I was pretending like I had to go do something.
Yeah. You had a business meeting or something.
Yeah.
But no, so I saw that, then I was like, well, I think I can do that every day and just whatever. I didn't even have any goals in mind. I was just like, 100 pull-ups a day. That's what Goggins does. That's what I'll do. And then so I did that. And then I got the idea in 2020, early 2020. Well, because actually, now that I think about it, on New Year's Eve, 2019. So just about to be 2020. I did 1,000 out here in this gym. And then you came out and took pictures. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Pictures sucked.
Yeah, the pictures sucked. I remember that too.
We wanted you to look all jacked, or we were hoping, but yeah, I don't know, the light sucked, or you weren't jacked, or something.
Well, and I had a bunch of back knee, so that doesn't look cool.
No,
because of the roids. But no, did 1,000 in like 5 hours.
First of all, I just want to say, anybody who says Truett's on steroids doesn't really know how obsessed you are about your hair and skin. Because
oh yeah, like I want to jeopardize that.
no, I don't think so. I mean, the way you carry on about everything, and your complexion, because that kind of goes hand in hand with steroid use. Apparently, people say. So I think that alone would.
Well, definitely the hair. Well, I mean, acne was a big thing for me too. Growing up, like in high school, that was tough to deal with.
So I don't see you taking anything that could kickstart any of those issues. So yeah, I mean, for people like to talk shit, you have no idea what goes on in this kid's head about his hair and complexion. But anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, I did 1,000. So it went into 2020, January 1st. And then Tanner, this was when he was a Ranger. He went to his gym after I did the 1,000 because whatever, like we like to compete, physical competitions. He ended up doing 1,200. I think that was in January or February. He did 1,200 in a 12-hour window, and then I wanted to see how much I could get in a 12-hour window. Then I ended up doing 2,100 out here in this gym. And then, I just kind of wanted to see how far I could take it. Goggins' record was in my mind because he said in 2013 did 4,030 pull-ups. And I was like, geez, I'm over halfway there. And
in 12 hours.
In 12 hours, like I could definitely, if I just kept training, I could definitely do this. And so in April 2020, I did 4,100 in 17 hours. My hands all torn up. Everyone and their mom has seen that video, and everyone and their mom thought that I had the world record after that. And I didn't. The world record at that time was 7,715, so I wasn't even close.
Was that the Ranger who had that?
Brandon Tucker, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, he had the record. And yeah, just like in 19 and a half hours too. So he was
That's so much more than 4,000. I mean, you're
Yes.
getting close to double. And your 4,000 kicked your ass.
Kicked my ass, and my hands were just absolutely fried. And yeah, I mean, I think when you kind of tell yourself like what's possible and whatnot, like you kind of set limitations. Like I was done at 4,100. There was no hope of going more. Like I was so done. And I think physically your body kind of gives up when you like set a limit. But then, I mean, people kept saying like, man, congratulations on the world record. And I didn't have it. And then, so I kind of felt like a fraud, even though like I did something that was hard, but people thought I did something that was even more spectacular. And then I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I actually did have the world record so that I wouldn't have to feel like this? And people always coming up to me and saying, well, dude, did you still have the record? It's like, no, I never did. So then whatever, did pull-ups for like a few years every single day. Just like I went up to like 200 reps and I figured that was enough. Because I had the idea of, okay, I'm going to break this 7,715. And then that record got broken, 8,008 by Jackson Italiano from Australia. And then I was telling my wife that I needed something to like work towards. This was earlier this year, 2023. And I was like, I need to push myself in something because like just lifting and whatnot, not having a goal, it's just like kind of getting old. And then she was like, well, yeah, apply for the record on Guinness and go for that, break that, because you know that you can do that easily. And then in my mind, this is how delusional I was. It was going to be easy.
I remember dinner.
The dinner the night before.
Me, you, and Tanner, and I think Alicia was there, obviously, but
Candace.
And Candace, went out to dinner, and you said, I don't think it's going to be that hard.
Yeah, I said, I'm actually worried it's not going to be hard enough. And that was a stupid thing to say. That's a stupid way of thinking about it going into the hardest day of your life, physically at least. But yeah, I was doing 200 every day, and I thought I was really doing something. And then went for the record. April 22nd, did 4,100 again, and in 12 hours. But the last 1,000 were pretty iffy reps because I was so gassed. Definitely didn't train hard enough, and I found that out on game day when I got the cameras, got the cameramen to come out, flew people out. Everyone was there, and then live stream going, and then obviously I failed in front of, like, by half. I got half of what I was supposed to do, and I was absolutely done. And then I remember driving to a restaurant. We went and ate after, and I told myself, I didn't say it out loud, I was like, I am never doing that again, because it just, it was miserable.
Yeah.
You fail, and physically I was like, I probably just can't do it. But then I didn't realize like how much training actually pays off. Like, I just had to find a different level of dedication. I mean, on that day specifically, so I went April 22nd, I failed, and then trained for like 3 weeks, doing like 1,000, and wasn't getting any easier. Just like every single rep was hard, and it's hours going by. Like, that's how I'm spending my free time, is just doing a bunch of pull-ups.
Yeah.
And then so it like, I got to kind of a breaking point, because on a day that I was supposed to do 3,000, I did 800. And then I called my wife and I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I was like, this is stupid. I was like, it doesn't even make sense, like, why I think I could do this, do something that never has been done before, which is over 8,008 pull-ups. And I was like, I don't even think I'm physically built for it. The other guys are lighter than I am, so like I'm at a disadvantage, and it's not getting any easier. And I've been training for a long time, and then so I built up all the excuses, and then I basically allowed myself to quit, and I told my wife that it was over, and then was driving. Then I texted you, and I was like, do you think I'm a failure if I don't try for the pull-up record again? And then that's when you said, no, I think you just need to take a break, and as long as you're working towards something, like, that's all that matters. That's a good answer. Obviously you don't want to be like, yeah, you're going to be a failure. But yeah, and then so I was pretty content for like a few hours of being like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to lifting, try to get jacked, and whatever, not going to do the pull-ups. I actually went through my captions on Instagram, and I deleted like another training week in the books for the world record, because I was just like, screw this, I'm totally bowing out, and I don't want anyone to know that like I was going to try to go for it again.
Yeah.
So I was covering my tracks, and then I was sitting on the couch later that day, and I was like, shoot, I might as well just see this thing through. I need to see if I can actually do this. It's like, what's the worst that can happen? I train harder this time around. I'll at least get closer, and then I can be done.
Give it one more good effort.
Yeah, one more good effort, just because I already laid it out there. After I failed, I was like, oh yeah, I'll come back better than ever. So I already kind of screwed myself by saying like, I'm going to try again. And then, so that was a month later when that happened, when I did the 800 on the day of the 3,000. And then next day or so, started doing pull-ups again, stuck with it for the next 5 months, and then just trained really hard. And got to a point to where I could do 5,000 in 12 hours. And then I was pretty ready for the next attempt, for sure.
And so that went just perfect. No issues.
On the day? No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because trained my ass off. I mean, like, the dedication was pretty crazy. Like 3 times a week is what I would do, 2,000 reps. And that would take usually 4 hours.
I saw on social media that that's not possible to do 2,000.
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen that too. I've actually seen that after the fact. Now that I've done 8,100 pull-ups, people will say on a video where I say like 1,000 before work, 1,000 after, because that's what I would do. They would say, haha, 2,000 in one day, that's impossible. And then I would reply, which feels pretty good, but I would say, do me a favor and look up on Google most pull-ups in 24 hours. Let me know what name you see, then come back.
Yeah.
And then so obviously up pops my name. And that feels pretty good. And then it's like, well, maybe 2,000 is believable if I did 4 times that amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, on actual game day, everything was going well. And I got to like, I think it was like around 5,000 is when I started to slow down. I was just getting gassed. And I had been going for like 13 hours. So like when you're doing something for that long, it's, fatigue's going to kick in.
Well, it was interesting too, because you had done 5,000 in 12 hours and you said you felt good in training.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had in your head that you should be able to get to 5,000 in 12 hours. But then on game day, you were feeling more fatigued than on that one training day. And that's what's a hard thing about, I relate it to like people who have to run the Olympics. They get one day, they got to be at their best. And you had this date picked. You had people flew in. You had, Guinness, the application for that day. You had the live stream. So it's like you have to perform whether you feel good or not.
Yep.
This is the day.
Yeah. And I mean, just like NBA players, like Steph Curry can hit 13 threes one day. Then the next day he's 1 for 15.
Yeah.
Just like you never really know like how it's going to go. So, I mean, I was, I went for it, was still making, do 5,000 in 13 hours, you're still on pace for sure. But yeah, I mean, my stomach was absolutely on the fritz. I just had so much candy and I thought that was a way to go. And then it was bubbling and whatnot. And I spent probably like an hour total on the toilet, just diarrhea, just gassing it up. And yeah, so my stomach was just like all over the place. That kind of took me out of it, took me out of the groove. I never had that issue in training. So that was a new thing. And then I just had to find a way to just keep going. And then, as like when you do the 200-mile races, you run 20 miles, and that's a long run. But you're not even close to being there.
Yeah.
It's like you did 240 miles, so you still have 220 left. And if you think about it like that, every mile that you do literally doesn't mean anything, but like you're getting closer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I got to 5,000, I still had 3,000 left, and every rep now I had to earn. It wasn't getting any easier. And then it can be hard to see like the light at the end of the tunnel when you're like that. Cause then you start saying to yourself, how many am I doing a minute? And then how many more hours am I going to have to go? And then how many reps is that going to be? And it hurts now. So it's going to hurt, just continue to get worse and worse as time goes on. And it's like, geez, I do 5 reps. I got 3,000 left. I'm not even getting closer to the goal. But then it's like, just like the 200-mile races, every step ends up counting because you just get closer and closer to the end goal. And then before you know it, like after 3 days go by, you're there. Yeah. And you never thought it would be possible, but it's like, as long as you just keep going, you're going to get there. So, I mean, that was a big mental barrier to cross.
Yeah. Cause I remember you were saying that, I mean, you kept thinking about numbers and time and doing the math. And trying to do math in your brain's just fried because you've been doing pull-ups for 15 hours or whatever it is. It'd be pretty, you were just like, I can't remember what you said, but something like it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, at that point, that was 6,600. I was doing about 3 a minute, which is 180 an hour. Yeah. It's not a lot.
No.
I wouldn't have been on pace. Like I would have come up short if I kept that up. So it's at 6,600 and you did I forget what the look is, but you kind of went like look back at 10 or like, I don't think this is going to happen. And then I could tell that like the energy in the room was like, oof, like this isn't going well. He's slowing down. I went to the live stream, saw the comments are like, I was really rooting for Truett, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it. He's like with this pace and people saying that like, yeah, no, he's not going to be able to get it and whatnot. And then so
he's really slowing down.
Yeah. And then I told my wife, I was like, yeah, we need to face reality. And I was like, this isn't going to happen. I was like, there's not enough time. I wasted too much time on the toilet. Just like things weren't going my way. So like I was pretty much like looking for a way out of people being like, yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Like you had diarrhea, so you can, you can quit and feel good about it. And then, so I was looking for that, and then I never got it from her. I mean, she was pretty upset because, well, it's like you train to be in that exact position. I was 17 hours in, 6,600 reps down. I just have 1,400 left. It's like, and then you told me the story about Courtney, about how her first 100-mile race, she got to like 60 miles. And then she didn't realize that was part of a 100-mile race is how bad it hurts.
The pain.
Yeah, the pain. She was like, oh, that's just like part of it. And then so like the next time that she did go out, she was like, yeah, no, this is just like part of the equation. And then like you got to push past that pain. So you told me that like what separates like winners and losers is winners, like when it hurts, they're able to push past it. And that's what makes them great. Whereas like other people, they feel pain, then they quit. And then you're like, I mean, did you think that this was going to be easy? And like, you're the one who brought this upon yourself. And I was like, you know, you never really know what's going to get through to someone when they're just going through hell. But like those words stuck with me. And then my wife, Alicia, crying too. Just like seeing your wife cry, you're just like, geez, I need to get myself together. And then so I was doing 3 a minute, like I said, and then just, you know, kind of gave it a go. I mean, Eric, he said it best. Eric McCormick, our friend, he was like, every time you've touched that bar, you've been successful. So like I never had any failed reps. I was still going strong. It's just that mentally I wasn't there. Mentally I didn't have the edge, but physically I was still going strong.
You just had to get on that bar.
I just had to get on the bar, yeah.
And you were like looking at the bar a lot, but once you grabbed it,
yeah,
you did a pull-up.
Yep.
Every time you tried.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then so, you know, I felt I was still like battling with myself. I was like, am I actually going to do this? Like,
well, I remember the first time, or in April, I just said, your body it's just not going to happen.
No.
And
I was failing reps.
Took Alicia around the corner and I said, it's not happening today. And she started crying then too. But I was just like, it's just, you know, your body just couldn't do it. This time your body could do it. It was your mind.
Yeah.
And so never said that, yeah, it's not going to happen, because I could see your body was fine. It was just that, but it's so mental too, because it hurts so bad. And you're fatigued, but your body's still performing. I
mean, at midnight is when I really started to feel it. And I was just like, I was really like, this isn't going to happen. At that point, for me, I was 17 hours in. 17 hours of standing in that spot, doing pull-ups for 17 straight hours.
Yeah.
Like naturally, you're just going to lose your mind. And then so I kind of did. And I remember I went to the bathroom and I looked myself in the mirror at like 66, 6,700. And I was like, you have more in you. I was like, you can do this. You need to find a different gear. Went back out, and then I kind of decided like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try to do this instead of just feeling sorry for myself and scared of how bad it's going to hurt. I'm just going to try, and worst that's going to happen is I'm going to end up failing, but at least I gave it my all. So I asked for some shades, sunglasses, so I could just zone out. Asked my brother to play some Suicide Boys as loud as possible. Chug some caffeine. And then just went to town. Started doing, this is like 17, 18 hours in. Started doing 3 every 30 seconds, so 6 a minute, when I was doing 3 a minute just prior. And the only thing that changed was mentally, I was like, I gotta go. And then, and then before I knew it, I was up to 7,000, and then I was just like nodding my head, listening to the music and pointing at like the live stream, just saying to myself, like, you guys have seen nothing yet. Like, you guys thought that I was done? No, I'm just warming up. And then so I got to 7,000, had 1,000 left. And at that point, like I passed that mental barrier, and I was like, shoot, I can do this thing. 3 a.m. rolls around. Been going for, at this point, 20 hours, and then feeling stronger than ever. Get to like 7,500, still feeling strong. But then I kind of realized at that point, I was like, shoot, I still have 500 reps left, and I got to earn every single one.
Yeah. And 500 is still a lot.
500 is still a lot, yeah. But no, I mean, just kept going. And like I said, just you keep chipping away. Don't focus on anything other than chipping away, and then you're going to get there eventually. And that's what I was able to do, and able to set the world record. And I mean, I was completely done mentally. Like I was going to announce it to everyone and say, hey, by the way, this isn't going to happen again. You guys can leave. But then I got to 7,000. I was like, geez, I'm part of the 7,000 club. And I was like, okay, let's keep going. Let's see how far we can take this. And I got to 7,900. Then I remember going over to you. I was at like 7,993. And then I just like tapped you on the shoulder and I was like, can you believe that? Like I'm going to get it. And then so like once that moment kicked in, it was pretty impactful for me. Just like, I don't know. I don't think people make themselves proud that often, but like in myself, I was actually proud. And
you didn't quit.
Because I didn't quit. And then I know people are like, yeah, well, that was a stupid goal anyway. People have been saying that, like, because I explain like the context, videos of my hands, and then they're like, that's a stupid thing to even do to yourself. And it's like, yeah, but not all of our goals are the same. Your goals are probably stupid. But
to
like
other people.
Yeah, to other people.
Yeah.
But this is what I wanted to do, and I was able to do it, and I was proud of myself, and that felt pretty dang good.
Yeah. To do the most pull-ups in 24 hours in the history of man, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
People can discount it all they want. But it's never been done before.
No, it's a workout that people do all the time.
Yeah.
And then so like to be able to say like, oh.
And 10 is hard. For a normal man, 10 pull-ups is freaking hard.
I know. I mean, yeah, I started out doing sets of 10 all the way into like 3,000 and then dropped down to like sets of 5 and whatnot. But yeah, it's just, you know, the training, obviously it pays off. Like we were saying on our run today, I didn't become the best in the world on that day, October 14th. I did it in training, and then I just proved it on that day. Like I built myself up to where I was the best during training when no one else was there, just me, myself, the bar, and music, and then just cranking away. And then that's how I got to be able to do 8,100. So training.
So what do you think motivated you to do the most in history? What was your number one motivation? There probably is multiple things, but what stands out?
Well, this sounds kind of funny, but you know, Rational Redneck.
I do.
Super fan. But no, when I said the day before, like I'm going to go for the record, he commented and said that he has, he can guarantee 100% that I'm going to fail, and then he'll reveal his identity if I do accomplish it. And then so when I was feeling sorry for myself at 6,600, I was like, damn, like I really don't want this guy to be right. Because he was 100% certain that I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I honestly thought about that, and I know he's just like kidding, or maybe I think it's satire.
It's just he's a troll. He's just having fun.
He's just having fun.
I think he's hilarious.
Yes, but some of the things kind of burn away at you, and then also people saying that like I failed miserably the first time. 2000's impossible. I wouldn't have the fuel or the fire, like the truth of it, to be like, yeah, well, what? By the way, I have the world record. So I had a lot of motivation.
Just proving people wrong.
Just to prove people wrong, for sure. Because I don't know, people when you claim to do something that's like physically challenging, I don't know what it is, but people just want to discount it like immediately. Like they don't want to give you that satisfaction. It's like, oh, if I can't do it, then he definitely can't. And then so I mean, I've just been dealing with that the last few months. And then so I really wanted to prove those people wrong. Wanted to make my wife proud, and then make everyone there proud that like they came out to support me. They believed in me. They believed that I could do it. And I just wanted to make everyone proud. So I just buckled down.
Do you know, it's weird now because social media is such a big part of our lives these days. You know, almost everybody's on social media at some point, either looking at things or posting things. But a big part of that is we judge each other, you know? So, do you think about like who's going to see what you're doing and who's either proving them wrong or proving them right? Because there's people who believe in you, like Goggins has believed in you. You know, so people like even like Joe would believe in you. But how much does that weigh in? Like, yeah, you want to prove Rational Redneck wrong, even though he's kind of joking around.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of people who they just hate on winners. I mean, that's just people who succeed. You're going to get hate. You're going to get hate from people who haven't achieved what they wanted to. So they feel bad about where they are in life. So they want to make you feel bad.
Have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, some people are better at it than others, but yeah, of course it affects we're humans. We're not designed to deal with acceptance or criticism from millions of people. And right now, millions of people can weigh in on your life.
Yeah, I mean, social media is just such a new thing to where, like, if you're doing 2,000 pull-ups a day, and then, and again, I wasn't doing 2,000 pull-ups a day. That'd be 14,000 a week. I was doing 6,000 a week typically. But
see, you're lying again.
Yeah, so I am a liar. But no, like if someone before social media, you said that you did that, and then someone said, "No, you didn't. You're a liar." You would probably fight that person. But since it's social media, they can say whatever and not have any consequences. And like they can call you a liar and then they don't have to deal with it at all, like what you might do. So yeah, I mean, I would think about that stuff all the time during training, and that, you know, that just motivated me even more. But no, social media is just so weird. I mean, I used to give you a hard time about like, why do you even respond to these people? Like it doesn't even make sense. Like why entertain it? But now I get it. It's like,
yeah,
it just pisses you off sometimes.
Yeah, especially to me, it's different or it's not different, but because everybody's affected in different ways. But when you work your ass off for something,
right,
and you've like dedicated so much time and effort and mental energy and physical energy, and then somebody wants to critique that. Because you worked your ass off to do whatever you're doing, that impacts you. Because you're like, I've been fucking busting my ass, and you can just, you know, discount it with, I mean, say whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, as you know, I talked about you guys as young men, but men in general in this day and age, it's a weird time, you know, because you know, as a hunter, like not everybody hunts or not everybody hunts the same way or so it's like men love to judge each other in that realm. Or if it's physical, every man sees himself and compares himself to other men, or not every man, but most men. And then they feel like it's a reflection on them. So it's just like in this scope of hunting, physical ability and attributes and all the stuff, it's like men are, you know, it's hardly ever women weighing in with negativity or talking shit. It's never women.
No,
it's fucking other guys.
I don't have any woman haters.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's fine because that's just the way it goes. And that's life. But yeah, I mean, there's times where you're like, God damn, these guys suck.
Yeah. I mean, you're drawn to the negative too.
Yeah.
Negativity bias. You can have 100 positive comments, and then that one is just like, "Oh, you idiot."
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's that's just the way it goes. I mean, as everybody likes to claim is, "Oh, just ignore the comments or don't read them." It's like, okay, everybody looks at them, and it's just,
I know,
whatever. I guess the more success you have, it's. I think even the most successful people in the world still hear the negative. Yeah. I mean, still, LeBron, how much shit does he get? And he reacts to it sometimes.
I've contributed to that.
I know. It's just the way it goes. But yeah, I get more motivation off weak men being pathetic than I do off supporters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, hey, whatever fuels you, great. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, in truth, it's like you look around and you're like, how could we be impacted negatively by anything? Because been blessed by so much.
Yeah.
So we have, our family's healthy, loves each other. It's just like, and you're going to let some stranger impact you. It's pretty crazy. But, so at the end of the day, I look around and I'm like, God, I got so much. Me personally, I've outdone my ability or what I deserved by 10 times. And so I can't, there's nothing I could say that would change that. I don't deserve to be where I'm at. Mm-hmm. You boys, you guys have worked your asses off. You're pretty much your whole life. So you've earned whatever you have. You have the world record. You earned it. People can say whatever. Fuck them.
Yeah. And I will say this about it. Like, people give me a lot of props because the pull-ups and whatnot, and Tanner's not on this podcast, but he's recording. I can be tough for like one day, like one day. That's what I have my mindset on is like, yeah, I can be tough and I can bust this thing out. But, Tanner, he's had to be tough for 4 years straight, just being a ranger and whatnot. So it's like, you got to give credit. He's tough. And then sometimes I am, but no, I mean, definitely it's like, I don't know. You got to earn it, and that's what I was able to do on that day. So
yeah, it's perspective. Yeah, for one day you're really good. There's people like and I look at this too. Like people, I can be pretty tough for certain stretches, but I look at Roy. He was always tougher than me, always more of a badass in the mountains, and so yeah, to me it's like we can learn and grow from people like that. So I would look at Roy, he would help me be better. I wouldn't look at him and go, think negatively and think that, oh, I'm better than this. Just like you don't look at Tanner and say that, you're tougher, you're better. You look at him and you're like, he's done this for longer than me. I can push through one day.
Yeah.
So it's all how you look at it, where I feel bad for the people who are the shit talkers on social media. It's like they're using it for the wrong reason. It's like, why don't you use it to better yourself or to be inspired? And, it sounds cliche and sounds like, oh, pie in the sky, but it's true. You can look at the same circumstance, two different people, one's inspired and they get better and they grow. One is negative and it impacts them and they're miserable.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you want to do?
I don't think people realize how mental a lot of their life is.
Yeah.
Just like it really comes down to perspective and mindset. Just like someone close to me, they're like clinically depressed is what some people would call it. Like, oh, we want to put you on, is that anxiety medication like Lexapro or whatever, or depression medication to make you, feel happier and whatnot. And then wasn't happy on that, felt terrible. And then ask them like how they are every week. How you doing? Oh, I'm okay, but life sucks. Like there's no point in living. It's just whatever. It's just every day I'm not working towards anything. And then so it's doing terrible. And then, and now I ask, and I'm not sure what changed. I think it was just a mental, but, now I ask like, how's it going? It's like, oh, I'm doing good. Just like life's good. And I'm kind of like changing things around just the way that I think about things. And,
so the circumstance didn't change.
No, circumstance didn't change, just perspective.
Mindset.
And then completely, cured himself just because he was like, I want to quit saying, cause I told him before, I was like, you think you're probably depressed because you always say, oh, it's not worth living. It's like, do you think that has an effect on you? And he's like, yeah, you know what? Probably. He's like, if you're always telling yourself that, then yeah. And then so as soon as you stop saying that, and then you're just like, I have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be grateful for, and I still have my health and able body, it's like, geez, I should really stop complaining. And it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Just like me being able to do the pull-ups, I was completely done mentally. And then physically I wasn't. And then I completely switched mentally and I was able to do it.
Yeah.
It's just like the only thing that changed was mental.
Yeah. It's it's again a cliche, but that self-talk is so important. You know, what you're telling yourself matters.
Yeah.
And it's yeah. I mean, I haven't been immune to it either. And what helps me is when I get out, if I get out, run the mountain, do something, shoot my bow, get outside, do something. If people are just staying inside all the time and just thinking about how miserable they are, it's gonna be really tough to change that.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I don't think people get outside enough. I'm not giving advice on how to live your life, but like it can actually be hard getting outside for an hour. If you're not just going out on a walk. Like if you work in an office, it can be hard to set aside time because you get to work at 9, get off at 5, and then you have kids and you want to see your wife and whatnot. And then it's like, oh, now it's nighttime. I'm not going to go out. I'm going to watch TV. And it's like, you never get outside.
Yeah, I know. Huberman likes to say that too. Get your face in the sun in the morning.
Sunlight. Yeah.
We're gonna put Huberman to the test this week. So we'll see if he's legit or if that's just...
See if the sunlight's been paying off.
No, I'm a big Huberman fan. I can't wait for him to come. But yeah, he's got some great advice. Some of it seems so simple, but you don't have to overthink this shit. Get outside, get in the sun, get some fresh air, and man, it changes everything.
Yeah, work out, eat healthy.
Drink water.
And then ice bath. Like, it's freaking hard, actually. Doing the ice bath, like that's one thing. Like being cold, it's like, damn, that hurts.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I think it's helped a lot of people too because it's a little mental. It's a mental test, and it's not physically hard, other than just getting in cold water. But it's not like you're running a marathon. But if you can do it, it's a little win for the day, and it helps. Well, I mean, we don't want to go on too long, but I did want to hear about what's your next goal after the world record in pull-ups? Now what? You just retired, fat and happy?
Fat and happy, yep. And I'm going to ride on the coattails of that for the rest of my life.
That's good.
No, I think we just went on a run today. We did like 7 miles. And the idea, which I already told people about, is
you're not going to go back and delete it all now.
No, is qualifying for Boston again.
Yeah,
and hopefully run it with you in 2025. And then I'll just use the time that I was doing for the pull-ups to get better at running, and hopefully still maintain some muscle because last time when I qualified for Boston, I was so skinny.
Not really.
I just wasn't eating enough. Yeah, I was.
No, you were like 160.
Yeah,
that's not that skinny.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I mean, I want to be able to qualify for Boston again. Just being able to run feels good. It's a good excuse to get outside anyway. And there's something to work towards. You always need something to work towards.
That's a good one. It would be a nice little bookend to the world record pull-ups, run Boston.
Well, yeah, because
good goals.
When I qualified for Boston in 2019, we were going to run it in 2020.
Yeah.
Already paid registration, and then there was a little cold that went around, and it got canceled.
Yeah. But that was pretty easy to qualify, wasn't it, the first time?
Yeah, that was, again, it's different than the pull-ups, but just so hard. Just hard in its own way. But yeah, like I got to the half marathon on that one, and I was just redlining. Like my heart rate was so fast, and I was so tired. Then I held that pace for another 13 miles. And felt absolutely just miserable after. I was like, I couldn't believe that I did it. 2:57, 6:46 is average pace. And then I went to work. Got off at 11 p.m. And I thought that was pretty cool because I was like, yeah. Not only did I go to work, do a full shift, but I qualified for Boston this morning. So I was like telling the customers when they would come in because I worked at the meat department. I was like, yeah, by the way, I ran a marathon this morning. They're like, wow, good job.
Yeah. You're like, check out my meat.
No, I didn't say that.
Good, because you would have got fired.
That'd be assault, brother.
No, that's a good goal. That'll be fun. I mean, yeah, shit. Running under 7s for 26 it's doing something.
It's hard to do once.
Yeah.
Yeah, let alone 26 times.
But yeah, you have the ability. You can do it. You're shit. I hadn't even run my first marathon when I was your age, so I think you got some time.
Yeah. Actually, what changed for you? Why did you start running marathons?
God, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it felt good to be in shape, to have something to focus on. You know, at that time, I had, you know, what people, not a great job. I had trying to support a family, trying to make good decisions, not go out drinking and be a loser. And so it just gave me, you know, as we talked about, like the mental challenges of just navigating life can be hard, but getting outside and running was a positive. So just kind of switched. And then I was like, well, I want to, you know, every dad wants their sons to be beasts and to be better than them. So I'm like, well, if I do this and, you know, have my kids involved, it's, you know, it feels good. Felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do as a dad and a leader of a family, even though I was kind of a fuck up. But so, yeah, just kind of built from there. And just, you know, as you have, you know, goals that come in and change and you achieve them, to set new ones, the same thing for me. So it was a marathon, then a 50K, then a 50 miler, then a 100 miler, and then a 200 miler. And it's just, that's how it goes. You don't just jump out and run a 200 miler. It's a process. So, yeah, it was just wanting to be better. And then that was
Because you were 32?
32, and I ran my first one, yeah.
Dang, yeah.
So yeah, you got time. You get your endurance, you know, you're probably not stronger or faster generally, but you're mentally tougher the older you get, because, you know, life has kicked you in the balls a lot.
Yeah.
And so either you get tough or you quit.
Mm-hmm. And
if you keep doing things and keep overcoming things, yeah, by the time you're in your 30s and even 40s, and now, I mean, I'm in my 50s and I feel as capable and as I ever have. So you got lots of time.
Yeah. And then I was also going to ask you, no, I'm the podcaster and you're on my show.
Oh.
With, you were writing your first book, full-time job, bow hunting and all that. And then you had Tanner and I. What were you working towards? Or like, what was keeping you motivated at that time? Because that's a lot going on. And then writing a book, that's quite the task. And you had the laptop in the living room, and then we were running around and doing whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you had a lot going on. Just like, what kept you, I don't know, just like focused?
I don't even know. I just wanted to, I wanted to be something. I wanted to be not just a guy in town that had a job, and I wanted to be like, you know, I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be somebody people talked about.
And you're not sure why?
No. It's probably just, you know, as I said, growing up, and then my dad wasn't around and I wasn't big. So I got, you know, whatever, you don't talk about bullied or picked on or whatever, but it's just like, it just felt like life was hard, and it didn't get a lot of positive anything. And so I thought, well, I want to be somebody people are like talked about and noticed, and either liked or didn't matter, but just wanted to make an impact. And so I thought, well, nobody's ever written a bow hunting book on blacktail deer, which is what we have here, which is what you killed, you know, 2 days ago. So I'm like, well, I'll do it. I don't have any money. I don't know what makes me qualified to do it, but I'm going to do it. So that's what I did, and did my first one then, and first book in 1999. second one in 2006.
And then if it didn't work out, you were going to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah, we were not. I wasn't good on. I've never been good on with money. I mean, I always spend what I got, and actually a little more than I got.
That's good.
And I just hoping, like, I always had in my head that it's going to work out somehow. I'm gonna write this book, and I'm gonna get a bunch of orders, and I'm gonna have a bunch of money coming in. It never really happened, but it worked out, and I mean, I thought we were gonna have to file bankruptcy, and I was putting these bow hunting goals ahead of what I should be making good decisions as a dad and a husband. But I was not super smart and kind of selfish, and just my dreams took precedence over everything for a while. And then pretty soon you're like, either I got to quit doing this shit or I got to work harder and make it happen. So I was just like, I gotta work harder and just make it happen.
Yeah. And that's actually, I just watched a documentary on Eminem, and when he got his wife or his girlfriend pregnant, he was like, geez, I really need to buckle. He was like messing around in the music scene, like trying to just make mixtapes and whatnot, and people buy them at like the gas station. And then he was like, man, I really need to buckle down. I need to support my family now. And instead of just completely giving, like going and getting a real job, as you would call it, somewhere, he went like just full bore into the music and just like focusing on that dream, and then believed in himself. And obviously now he is who he is. But it's just like, instead of giving, like, it would have been really easy to give up on the dream. Like, yeah, by the way, that's not going to happen. So you need to go ahead and get a real job. And then we wouldn't have Eminem.
And that happens to a lot of people. They give up on their dreams, because it doesn't look realistic. And you're like, man, what if you just would have stuck with it? So I didn't want to be that guy who gave up. So I just stuck with it.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is I don't know how people accomplish anything if they don't have like a supportive spouse. Like, if you're constantly being fought on what you're able to do, like my wife, she was super supportive, and she was the one that didn't want me to quit when I wanted to quit back in May. But if you don't have that, it probably affects you, because I mean, that's the person you spend the most time with. And if they're just constantly like shitting on your goals, and it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
If you have to fight them and also the adversity of just trying to accomplish your dreams, it's like, no way.
Yeah. You need somebody who believes in you, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, life's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I will say it's one thing to say that you want to be someone, and then another thing to actually be someone. Like everyone wants to be whatever.
Everybody thinks they're special.
Everyone thinks they're special and they want to be successful. But then it's one thing to actually like buckle down and do it. Like, make time. You had your full-time job. You would still lift, run, shoot, bow hunt, write a book. It's like, that's a lot. So, I mean, it's probably just discipline, right?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just, I'm not sure. But, I mean, I just kind of just feeling like a loser most of my life.
Yeah.
Just didn't like that feeling.
Yeah. Well, to be able to change on a dime like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I never felt like, even when my job at Sub turned in, I was, the buyer for a long time. Didn't really know if I was qualified for that. Then I was superintendent. Didn't really know if I was qualified for that either, but just kept like, they call it outrunning your coverage, like on a punt. It's just like, I just kept like outrunning my coverage, and just like, well, I probably don't deserve to be here, but I am, and I'm going to make the most of it. So it's just, probably being a little delusional. Like, people, like we say, everybody thinks they're special.
Yeah.
And so maybe I thought I was more, I don't know what, than I actually was. But eventually you just earn some opportunities because you just can't be ignored.
What was that race? Didn't you drop out of a race before when you were like 25? You were like supposed to run a 10K, and then you just...
Oh, the Butte to Butte.
It was the Butte to Butte?
Yeah, I quit.
And then you quit, and then you...
Like at 5 miles.
You have a mile left.
A mile left.
Couldn't walk it.
No, I could have, but I just stepped off the course and took my number off, and had been drinking. I was fat for me. And it's just like, I was used to knowing what good times were.
Yeah.
And, you get to 5 miles, you see the time, and you're just like, holy shit, do I actually want this time to be counted? And I just felt pathetic.
How old?
I don't know, but probably around 25.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously people know you now. You would never do such a thing.
No.
You would never quit like that on pretty much any race.
No.
So like, I don't know how you go from that to just being like, it's kind of like a Goggins switch, mental switch of like how he was, 300 pounds and he was just his own words that like he was pathetic, couldn't work out, could hardly even run. And then to be able to switch into what he is now and what you're now, it's like, I don't even know how that happens. Yeah.
I don't either, but I just know people just get tired of feeling pathetic. If he said that, then it's a miserable feeling, especially for a man. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be strong. And when you don't feel that way, either you cave into that feeling and, go further down, or you're just like, holy shit, I gotta buckle down. I gotta do something. And so, it was just like you get there's a saying, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you just change. And so that was it. I just changed. Luckily, Tanner came along, and then I felt obligation to be a good dad, not just a dad who was a fuck up, but actually a good dad. Because you guys, I didn't know, you weren't around yet, but I knew Tanner was going to be watching me, and how I carried myself was going to impact how he carried himself and his development. So it's just like, shit, this is bigger than me.
Yeah, no, I know. And that's true. I mean, people are watching you. And like my wife, when I would be training for the pull-ups, I would tell myself like, she's watching me right now. And like, it matters if I actually show up and if I'm actually able to do this, like it actually matters because people, it's like, you don't want to let them down.
People believe in you.
Yeah. And you want to give them something to be proud of. Like that's one thing that we were talking about earlier. I want my kids to be proud of what I accomplished, not that I was a quitter. Like, oh, it got hard, then I quit. It's like, that's not a good lesson.
No. And you said it feels good when people believe in you, but people don't believe in you forever.
No.
You start letting people down a few times, they're like, this guy's not going to do shit. Then nobody's believing in you.
Yeah.
And that's not a good place to be, because you've just let people down for so long. They're just like, here he goes again.
Yeah.
Just a fuck up.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a good feeling.
No, so it's just like, you have to, when people believe in you, that means something. You got to cherish that. You're like, I'm gonna prove you right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna prove you right. I'm not gonna waste this, you caring and your love and support. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm gonna make it pay off.
No, and you need people like that. I mean, I was filling out this questionnaire for Guinness after the fact, and it was just like, how did you feel after accomplishing this? And then I was like, I've just, obviously, like I said, I've never been more proud of myself, but then also like seeing how proud like you and Tanner, Taryn and Mom were, like that. What I said was, I hope everyone gets to experience that feeling, because like making those closest to you feel proud in you, of you, it's like, whew, yeah, that's a pretty life-changing feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope everyone gets to feel that. It's like Israel.
Adesanya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Style bender.
Yeah, when he knocked out Alex Pereira, and he said that he hopes everyone can experience like how happy he feels right now. It's like, yeah, no, I mean, I kind of get that now.
Yeah. No, it's special. I mean, and yeah, your whole family was proud of you because, and I think, Tanner would attest to this, everybody here would, but you've always been pretty obsessed with training. I mean, I don't know how old you were when you had the little ab roller and you'd be hours on the TV, like rolling out your abs, or not rolling out your abs, but on that ab roller and just extending out the side, 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 side. How many hours did you do that a night?
Probably about like an hour, and then I'd go to the gym as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it feels good with, that's always been like one of your core tenets of you is like you want to be it's always that physical conditioning or attributes or performance. And, so it felt good for you to achieve that goal. And yeah, we were all very proud of you. And it would be nice. It would be extremely powerful if everybody could feel that way, but that has to be earned.
I know.
You earned it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's what makes it that much sweeter. It's just how hard it was. Mm-hmm. It's like, I didn't want to mask the pain because it's like just knowing how hard that feeling was and overcoming it. It's like, oof, that's the best feeling in the world when it's said and done. Cause now it's 2 weeks later and my body's 100%, feel totally fine. And it's like, geez, it's just temporary.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just temporary.
Feels overwhelming at the time.
Yeah, but that feeling of being proud, it's like that sticks with you for a long time.
Yeah.
You didn't let yourself down, and that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. No, well, it's been a great couple of weeks. You got through a world record. You got a buck killed.
Pretty sweet.
What else you got? You ran the mountain today.
Ran the mountain.
Didn't walk.
Didn't walk. Able to just lift like normal now.
Pulled my bow back.
Pulled your bow back.
That's actually the number one thing.
Which actually people love to see other people struggle. So they
love to see people fail.
They love to see people fail for sure.
Well, struggle really bad and then fail.
Yeah. I don't know. It just makes people feel better about themselves, I think. But
yeah.
No, it's all right. Yeah, we've had a lot of positives in the last couple of weeks, so I can't complain.
No, it'd be silly to complain. We've been blessed with a lot, and I'm thankful for the sons and daughter I have, and my family, and you guys all make me proud. Right now is your time in the sun. You achieved your goal, and Tanner and Taryn are going to have their time in the sun too, and that's what we like.
Yep. And
proud of you guys.
Yeah, and I hope they do, and I know that they will. So, yeah, when one of us wins, all of us win. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yep.
But yeah, all right. Well, we got a film coming out at some point about your deer hunt. Maybe we'll show your meltdown.
Yeah, about the deer hunt coming out. Yeah, and then also for the pull-ups, Luke Dusenberry's making that for me, so that'll be sweet.
Yeah, that should be good. Maybe you can pull some of this audio.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Well, good work. You have anything else you want to close with?
I love my wife. I love Jesus and Ducks football.
Are the Ducks gonna go to the BCS or not BCS,
BCS
National Championship?
That's been gone for a while now.
The BCS, I know.
But no, yeah, they're probably going to make it, I would have to say. I mean, we always end up losing a stupid game to like an unranked opponent. But no, I'm feeling good this year. I think we're better than Washington. If we play them again in a neutral site, then we got it.
I know. We're playing really good right now. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We love the Ducks.
Yeah, no, we always have. But no, I mean, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we'll get you to the airport. You can get home to your wife.
Sweet.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
Keep hammering.
Guys, it's Cameron Hanes here. I'm going to be giving away this brand new Ford Raptor 2023 fully loaded badass truck. You got 20-inch wheels, 35-inch tires. The tax man loves coming for that money, right? I'm giving away $10,000 cash to offset that for the winner. You get a truck and $10,000 in cash. I want you to win this brand new 2023 Ford Raptor. Enter to win, CameronHanes.com. Keep hammering.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt. Feeling like Cam Hanes.